Okay, so let's start. This is a bit long topic, but I will try to short it down. Although this topic is AWS compute basically Amazon EC2, auto scaling those things, but I'm just starting from giving some basic background. Basic background comes. Suppose there is a website Netflix, and it is using that AWS cloud. So you are a user. Now you will browse that website and Amazon Route 53. It will resolve the DNS, and then the first thing it will face will be web tier. Web tier, I am saying this like I am just giving this tier a name, web tier, first front end. This will be having entry point. It is like as an entry point, so we can consider like if we are using serverless, so there will be a lambda function and Amazon API gateway, or we can use application load balancer, and in target that is a different topic. So it will redirect to the compute tier. Compute tier come basically Amazon EC2 or server you use, and or serverless you can use lambda function. Now comes the another tier. So suppose Netflix homepage is opening, you see some common videos or movies promotion there, their content. So that is a common for all. For that, it can use storage tier, which will be having EFS, or we can say S3. So that is the basically static content it will be using. Now comes the caching. Caching part is basically to make your website faster. So suppose front page is loading, so for that it can use CloudFront. When you say CloudFront, so this is CloudFront, so directly it will fetch data from the S3. So you can see here CloudFront can use S3. So these are the two tier, and in last comes the DB tier. DB tier contains RDS, Aurora database, DynamoDB. So different services AWS provide. So we are using caching to make it faster. So we can use anyone, Amazon Elastic Cache or DEX. DEX will be redirecting to DynamoDB. Okay, so this is a brief idea about how any website or architecture works, but our main topic is compute tier. So let's come to Amazon EC2. So these are the features. You can read it, or you can I just took it from the AWS website. Don't need to explain. So these are basically this selection of computing instances, this selection of processes and architecture choices. Security is built into the foundation with the Amazon Nitro system, optimized cost. These are the basic. So main part is this one. One is on demand, spot instance, reserved instance, dedicated host. So these are the four types. Now we will study on demand and spot instances today. Okay, what is on demand? Okay, theory I will explain by the diagram. So suppose this is a diagram. Okay, so something is not visible here, so let's see some another diagram first. So see, this is one content and another content. Just don't consider this diagram. So this is a first EC2 instance content and another content. So this is a first EC2 host, second EC2 host. What it says in on demand. Okay. It says different customer will use shared pool of EC2 host. What we are saying, customer instance are isolated but running on the same hardware. So these are the two hosts, first and second, and the highlighted portion, shared hardware. So these EC2 instances are running on the same hardware. So this 4V CPU, don't confuse it. So like this is just capacity of EC2 instance, and we can we have used this capacity here, so I just use it as a shared instances. So now comes the theory part. You can just read it or I will explain you. Okay, so we have understood like different sizes when launch using on demand. What is happening here? Different customer will be having isolated instances. So suppose I am creating a EC2 instance, another person B is creating a EC2 instance. They will be for different person, but behind the scene they are using the same hardware. So this is the definition. When any customer launch EC2 instance, it will share the same pool of underlying hardware. As resources are shared, so prices are reasonable. So what is happening here? These resources has been shared, so these prices will be reduced. That's why on demand is bit, we can say, in reasonable price, not cheapest but reasonable price. Okay, so what are the usage scenario? Okay, first we will see pay per second billing while an instance is running. So what it is saying is your EC2 instance charges only occur when that instance is in running state. In case it has been shut down, then there you don't need to pay. Another point, suppose you have created a EC2 instance and you have attached a volume there, or you have assigned the elastic IP there. So if you have shut down your EC2 instance, but that elastic IP cost or that storage cost will be constantly charged. Hope that will be clear. Now come to the usage part. So when you go to the AWS dashboard in EC2 services, you create an instance, so that is a default on demand. First point. Another point, no interruption. So suppose you are running your EC2 instance, you have hosted your website, so it will run constantly. It will not be interrupted. But there is one condition. AWS have that reserved instance also. So if you see here, reserved instance and dedicated. So in that scenario, suppose some disaster or is happening, or AWS EC2 fail or need EC2 instance, in that scenario priority will be reserved instances. then it will come to the on demand instances. Another point, predictable pricing. Another point is they are charged constantly, like no upfront cost, no discount. You will use and there is a constant price for them. Okay. So if your client is asking, I need a instance which is in reasonable price and that will not be interrupted, like that will not be terminated anytime. So you can consider this. Then also you can use on demand. Okay, so sorry for that. I just I will explain it again. So basically, if we say on demand, so we will be using for short term workload and a non workload.